Inside Mercer Basketball with Coach Bob Hoffman and your host, Rick Cameron. Brought to you by Wild Wing Cafe.
Hello everyone, welcome once again to Wild Wing Cafe. Shops at River Crossing. We're here the next 30 minutes to talk about Mercer basketball with head coach Bob Hoffman. Coach, so last week, an unusual week. We're still getting used to conference play in the Southern Conference. Schedule has some surprises for us. Last week, one game. Unusual that we only had a Thursday night game.
Yeah, it was strange how it's set up. We've already got most of our weekends are full. I mean, we've been playing Thursday, Saturday the whole time, and now all of a sudden we had one game. It's kind of hard to figure out what to do with that. I know our guys were thankful to get back home and get a little bit of rest. I know we had guys banged up, so the opportunity to take some time off and work on some individual development was good.
Coach, let's talk about our first trip to Cullowhee. It took me a couple of times to get the pronunciation right. I think Manley Brown walked me through it. I do know how to say Cullowhee now. But Darius Moten got off to a tremendous start in the first half of that game. He had, like 15 points by the second media timeout. Yeah,
he was shooting the ball well, hit some big shots. We needed him in the second half to get some shots. He talked about, when I was visiting with him after the game, that he felt like he wasn't as aggressive the second half. Maybe we didn't run as many things as we should have to try to get him some shots the second half. But we need him making those plays that he did, and we just missed too many layups.
Yeah.
I mean, we had all kinds of opportunities, and when you shoot 28% from the floor on the road, it's pretty hard to win, although we still had a chance. If we'd made a couple plays within the last couple minutes, we would have been right there, even as bad as we shot the ball.
Even free throws, Coach. It started off not bad. Darius was like 6 or 7 out of his first 8. But the second half, it seemed like kind of like a golfer on the green. You miss a putt, and then the next time you maybe try to adjust for that. At the free throw line, it seemed like the harder we tried, the more they bounced out. Barely shooting 50%, which is not a normal game for your team.
No, we just didn't play very well. I mean, they played well. They played with great energy. They had a decent crowd that was enthused the whole game. They got after it. And, you know, historically, we always play well on the road, step up, make plays. And we had started out the first half the right way. We did everything right. We were controlling the game. Then all of a sudden, we couldn't make a play. And they were making shots, and they got some separation on us the second half. But we still fought back and had opportunities, but we weren't able to get it done.
Coach, I know one thing you stress, whether it be a shoot around or practice, anytime, is communication. That's a big deal to you, your staff, and your team. You have something you call the echo, which is extremely important on the road. For those fans that don't know that story, walk us through that real quick, how that came about.
Well, it happened a long time ago. I don't know if anybody really cares, but I'll tell them, I guess.
Do.
It was in 1989, and I was coaching women's basketball at Southern Nazarene University, and it was my second year of being head coach there. We had a great year going. Actually, we won 18 games straight, lost 2 home games, and then we won 13 straight to get to go to the national tournament in Kansas City at Kemper Arena. And on the way there to Kansas City, I lost my voice. And it was the strangest thing. We had practice at Rockhurst there in Kansas City, the very first practice we had, and the girls came in and we were practicing and like we normally did, but I noticed something was a little different. And when I'm usually pretty quiet.
Oh yeah, sure.
And so anyway, this practice couldn't say a whole lot because I'd lost my voice, and they kept getting closer and closer to hear what I'd say, and then they kept saying it to each other.
Yeah.
And I figured out that was the way we were going to be able to communicate for that game, and you have to win 5 games in 7 days in NAIA to win a national championship, and that's what we were trying to do. So having your voice is pretty important in the midst of that, especially the way I like to try to talk and act crazy, I guess. But anyway, that's how it came about. We ended up winning the national championship, won 5 games in 7 days, and I thought our girls really responded well to that, and from that point forward, we implemented it in all our practices. And basically in practice now, I might walk by whoever it might be, a team captain, or it might be somebody that doesn't play as much, and I might say whatever drill we're going to, and it's their job to echo it, because that's how the game's played, because you need to be able to communicate and to get right away to whatever you're doing, and that's what we've done for however many years that is now, 25, I guess, a long time ago, and it's been successful for us. But it's mainly just the idea of staying together, finding things that you got to do and doing it as quickly as you possibly can, and being organized in the midst of whatever's going around you, even on the road when people are yelling things that may not be real nice, or calling your mother certain things or whatever, and you got to be ready to go. And so that's what we try to do.
Even works in restaurants, Coach. When they bring our order out, we echo whatever the food order is.
Yeah, whatever the guy's name, we echo the name, and it's just a culture, part of our culture. They do it for fun. Some of the things they try to do, even on the bus, but I think it's a great thing, and it's been tremendous for us these 25 years, but that's how it came about in 1989, in March of that 1989 at Rockhurst College in Kansas City, Missouri.
Well, we've still got several important road games coming up very soon that's going to come in handy, but in this segment, we're going to wrap it up, and when we come back, we're going to go to campus. Echoing, there we go. And we're going to talk to our point guard, Philip Leonard, when we return with more Inside Mercer Basketball.
Wrap it up.
Hey, all you Bear fans, I know we're having a great time at this game. It's exciting, fun. We're getting after it. If you want to have a good time after this game, you need to go over to Margaritas in Mercer Village. They have amazing Mexican food, and they're going to take care of you. All kinds of specials. You can find what you want. Look at my body. It's working good for me. Come on over and check them out at Mercer Village. Margaritas.
Well, we're back with one of our favorite segments on Inside Mercer Basketball, and that's getting to know our Mercer players. Tonight, our point guard, Philip Leonard. Philip, before we get into playing basketball at Mercer and looking at your history, back in high school, you had a pretty good run your senior season there, I believe. Tell us about that.
Oh, yes, sir. We had a great team. We went 29-0. We had like 9 seniors, so we all just liked playing with each other. Played well together. We enjoyed each other, so it was a great year.
All right, now let's talk about the transition. At what point did Mercer University come into the picture?
Well, I went to junior college for a year, so after my junior college season, I didn't have too many looks coming my way, but Mercer came through and started recruiting me, and I'm glad they did.
Now, you're the point guard for this basketball team. Jordan Strawberry comes in as well, but when you got here, there was a pretty good point guard here by the name of Langston Hall. Coach Hoffman brags of how you came in and accepted the fact that Langston was established here. Your day would come, never complained, but yet put in the hard work to get to where you are today. Tell us about last year, what you learned watching before you became the starter.
I learned a lot watching Langston. He was a great player, playing with him on the court in the games, running the wing. I learned a lot from him, and then going against him in practice each day, I just learned a lot of his leadership abilities and the way he ran his team. It just helps me a lot this year.
One thing about your numbers that already very impressive, you're leading the Southern Conference with more than 5 assists a game. To me, that's a very important statistic. It means you're, number one, you're directing your program, your team down the court, but you're very unselfish. Tell us about how that comes into your game of making sure the right guy gets the basketball.
Just factors into our system too. Coach Hoffman and the plays, they're directed to get a lot of people involved in the game, so it's up to me to share the ball, move the ball, and then the team just does a great job of hitting shots, which helps me out a lot.
Now, you can't only you do things away from the goal. You're pretty talented inside, got pretty good leaping ability, and in fact, Coach E, I think, had named you Finger Roll Phil. Coach Hoffman has encouraged you to do what on a fast break?
Dunk it.
Dunk the basketball. Tell us about Coach E and the Finger Roll Phil.
He just always gets on me. When I'm driving into the lane, I'm always lay it up instead of dunking, and everybody's just yelling at me all the time, dunk it, dunk it. So.
And you did a few games ago, and how good did that feel?
It felt great to finally get the first one. It felt really good.
All right, tell us about the transition now. Obviously, we had the 7 seniors. Langston had been a 4-year starter. Now you inherit the program. Obviously, there's got to be some growing pains along the way, but at this point in the season, how do you feel we're progressing to get back to that top team that can play once again for a championship?
We're definitely having a few growing pains, but we're still working, still learning, trying to figure out how to play with each other, trying to figure out what we're good at and how to be consistent every game, each practice. Each day we step out on the court, we have to be our best, and that's something we're trying to learn to do.
You know, I hear Coach Hoffman using the phrase, still trying to figure it out. I hear you say the term, figure it out. Coach Hoffman has such a complicated system. We all are aware of that. What does figuring it out mean to you guys as players?
Just knowing what to do, what's the best thing for our team. There's a lot of different things that works for different teams, but we have to figure out what's good for this team specifically, and we have to do it to our best of our abilities.
Obviously, you're doing a great job of dishing the basketball. I know you're working so very hard on your free throws. I see you out there shooting immediately after a game. You can tell already improving. Would that be the number one thing on your list that you're working to improve, or is there anything else you feel you need to work a little extra hard on next time out?
Free throws and my outside jumper, both of those things I'm continuing to work at, get extra reps in.
All right, a lot of youngsters come to watch you guys play, and obviously watching our TV show today, having grown up loving the game of basketball, what advice would you give to other youngsters that want to play college basketball one day?
Just hard work, put in the hours in the gym. Doesn't matter how things are going, just keep working towards your dreams and never give up.
All right, can't play basketball forever. We want you here for a long time, and as far as you want to play, but outside of basketball, what do you hope to do one day?
Well, I major is sports management, so I hope to get into something on the business side of sports some way.
All right, as the point guard, you play such a pivotal role when we're on the floor. What about off the court? What do you enjoy doing most with your teammates?
We like to play video games, get in somebody's room and just play video games for a while. That's pretty fun.
Now, we see these guys so intense under Coach Hoffman's leadership on the floor, on the bus, on the planes, in the hotels. Do things lighten up a little bit?
They do. We like to be around each other, have fun, joke around with each other.
I would imagine, Phil, with the way Coach emphasizes that may be the one aspect of why this team has been so successful the last 3 or 4 years. Would you agree, the camaraderie among your teammates?
Definitely. If you hang out with your teammates off the floor and you have fun, when you get on the court, it just makes it that much easier.
All right, I see you guys come onto the floor out of that tunnel. I know you love the support you have here at home. Mm-hmm. Tell the folks back watching today how much you appreciate what they do for you at Hawkins Arena.
Oh, we appreciate it a lot. It just feels great when we come out and we have a packed house. And you go to some people's gyms and there's nobody there. And when we're here, we're never going to have the crowd behind us and a lot of support.
All right, that's our point guard, Philip Leonard. We'll be back with more Inside Mercer Basketball after this. Well, we're back at Wild Wing. That was another one of our very valuable basketball players, our point guard, Philip Leonard. All right, Coach, we've got a couple of important games to talk about coming up in our last segment, but you know, this segment, most all popular TV shows have a top 10.
Is this a popular TV show?
This is a very popular. This is going to be more popular after this one segment.
Okay.
I'm going to
I haven't seen the ratings. I thought
okay,
maybe
well, we're going to improve them. I'm going to fire off 10 questions. And if it's one answer, fine. If it's 2 or 3, that's fine. But we're going to let the Mercer fans hear from Coach Hoffman himself. Number 1, what's the best team you have coached?
That's a loaded question right there.
Well, the top 1 or 2 then.
I've had many top teams.
Okay.
Well, last year definitely was one of those.
Okay.
The team we were talking about earlier in the first segment, the national championship team, what they were able to accomplish after that program had never had a winning season. The second year we won a national championship.
Okay.
I had 2 teams at OBU that were national runner-up. If we'd had better coaching, we'd won a national championship on the men's side. And then that was in 93 and 97. And then at Texas Pan American, we won 21 games as an independent, which is almost unheard of.
Yep.
Beat Baylor, won the San Juan shootout, beat Baylor in the finals, and that was a really good team.
All right, Coach, what about possibility of a best player you have coached?
Well, one of the best players I ever coached for sure is Darryl Barnett, who was a point guard, off guard, led the nation in assists in junior college. He was a junior college All-American, played for me at Oklahoma Baptist University. He helped change our program along with some other guys. And then you could list multiple guys that have been here in the past. And then the guys I coached in the D League, who some are still playing in the pros. Steve Novak, I loved coaching that guy.
Yeah.
He was a great shooter. He was fun to be around. And you could go down the list, but probably all those seniors off last year's team, I'd have to throw them in that.
What about a most memorable win, Coach?
My wife is saying Spencer Wright.
Spencer Wright, you're a current associate head coach.
Yeah, Spencer was good. He only played for 1 year for me.
Most memorable win?
Most memorable win? Well, I'd probably have to say last year winning against Duke was right up there.
Okay.
But the win at Utah State was as good as any, the CIT championship, winning a championship on the road, hostile crowd where they've won 9 million games. And people were calling you a lot of ugly names there too. Good thing I couldn't hear them.
All right, what about the best comeback during a game, Coach? One game where you thought you just didn't have a chance, but you still came back?
Yeah, when I was at Piedmont High School, we beat Heritage Hall High School in the district playoffs, and we were down 6 points with 9 seconds left.
Wow.
And we ended up winning. We took the last play was, which we run sometimes now, we ran somebody up to set a pick on the out of bounds man that was guarding the ball the full court level, and he ran over him, and we ended up shooting a 1-and-1, and the kid hit the free throws for us to win and go on. We ended up going to the state tournament. That was the first time we went to the state tournament in the history of the school. We went 3 times after that, or 2 more times after that. So that was pretty amazing comeback.
What about a team that's at the beginning of the year maybe didn't have high expectations, but they over-accomplished more than any team, maybe?
I would say probably the year we had everybody hurt, it would have been the senior group that just left their freshman year. When Jeff Smith got hurt, Brandon Moore got hurt, Brian Mills was the leading scorer on that team. Mark Hall was on that team. I think those guys really overachieved, and we won a bunch of games at the end. Monty Brown was starting at the end of that year, and we did a lot of good things.
In any one game, the best coach you have gone up against?
Well, I mean, it'd be hard to say anybody other than Coach Krzyzewski after winning his 1,000th game yesterday, but there's multiple guys at every level that I've coached at that are better coaches than a lot of people I've coached against. They just haven't had the opportunity to coach at different levels. I mean, there was amazing coaches in the high school level that I went against, and Pete Bird, who was at Kingfisher, he was amazing. John Branham at Deer Creek that I coached against, they were the ones I aspired to try to beat. Then Dan Hayes was at Oklahoma Christian, Bobby Martin at Southern Nazarene. All those guys, if they'd had the same opportunity I ended up having, they could have done the things that we were able to do, no doubt about it. And then more recently, Rick Bird just got his 700th win. He's one of the best, and he's done it at all kinds of different levels.
What about a player, Coach, that stands out, the best player you have coached against?
I would say Eric Manuel, actually, who's from Macon, Georgia. He went to Kentucky, had NCAA problems, ended up at Oklahoma City University, which was in our league, and he had quite a few points. And Kevin Franklin also was really good, who played at Oklahoma City, also beat us in the semifinals one year in the national championship game. There was multiple guys in the D League that were off the chart, and then I mean there's some guys, Florida Gulf Coast, Brett Comer, I think, is a really good player, and he's having a good year again. This year there's some guys at Upstate, Torrey Craig was he could get shots when he wanted to. Those are ones that come to my mind off the top of my head, but I mean, there was 3 first-round draft picks we played against when we played Duke last year, so that was pretty good. And then Stokes manhandled us, and he was pretty good. And you could give it up to, well, that's probably enough.
All right, 2 more questions on this very difficult segment. What's the most interesting character you have coached? I didn't say best player, interesting character.
Well, there was a young man I coached at OBU. His name was Lamont Edwards. Him and Lonnie Struggs would be 2 of the ones I would think of the most. Lamont Edwards, it was one of the years we didn't go to the national tournament, and for some reason at Christmas in small college, a lot of times you be gone for a week or two. In the middle of the Christmas break, you'd actually get a break. And he went home and never came back and left his car. And the police took it, impounded it to pay off his parking fines, and I never heard from him again.
Wow.
He was our leading scorer when he left, and we didn't go to the tournament that year. We had to retool. That was kind of a strange deal. And then Lonnie Struggs was one of the fastest guys I've ever seen and ever coached.
Yeah.
He went AWOL also.
Wow.
And then wrote me a letter trying to come back, and it was just both those guys were special guys.
Wow.
But they were interesting characters for sure.
Yeah. All right, Coach, final question on this segment. When we're all dead and gone, everybody in the room, on your headstone, Bob Hoffman, what phrase or slogan do you want Bob Hoffman to be remembered as?
That a baby.
Seems like the crowd is helping us out here. What are we doing? Is that it, or are you going to pick one?
I have no idea. I don't.
We're getting all kind of nominations. Yeah. Are you serious?
I don't think I have any that I would use.
All right. We could go all night with the fans helping out on this, but we better pull it to a halt and try to get some organization back in the show. We got 2 games coming up we need to talk about.
Huge games.
Huge games. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about those games against Chattanooga and Wofford. When we come back with more Inside Mercer Basketball.
Huge games.
As a business owner, you need to choose the financial direction that's best for you to find a clear path to growth and success. At BB&T, we support businesses of all sizes with personal service and advice, sharing the sound financial knowledge we've gained over more than 140 years so you can move ahead with confidence. Talk to us today about your business goals. BB&T, sharing knowledge for a brighter direction.
Back at Wild Wing Cafe with Mercer head coach Bob Hoffman to talk Mercer basketball. All right, Coach, the Sonic Player of the Week. We only had 1 game, so that kind of limits the nominations.
Yeah, Darius Moten, definitely. I mean, he had a great start, as we mentioned in the first segment. Made some big plays. He's had big moments already this season. We need him to finish well and have some big shots and big rebounds this week against 2 really good teams.
All right, making occupational medicine inside look at the Southern Conference. Current standings: Wofford and Chattanooga. Our next 2 opponents: 7-1. Mercer 6-2. ETSU 6-4. Western Carolina 4-5. VMI 4-6. Furman 3-5. The Citadel 3-6. UNCG 2-6. Samford has won back-to-back games to be 2-8.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting how you knew Samford was going to beat somebody.
Yeah.
Because they were really good and they've been playing everybody close. And we were fortunate to get off to a good start when they came to our place. I think they're playing more zone defense now, but everybody on that list that you just mentioned can win at home or away. And so the rest of the games, we have 10 left. It could be crazy how it finishes. We got 5 weeks, 2 games a week for us till we get done, and 5-5. 5 at home, 5 on the road, and it's going to be an interesting finish.
All right, the next game is a blackout night at Hawkins Arena. We're back home for 1 game. Chattanooga coming to town, Coach. If you would, preview the Moccasins for us.
Well, they're athletic. They have a couple of young men we're really familiar with. One from Alabama that we recruited, Robertson kid that can really shoot it, and Justin, the big man inside. He's a Georgia kid, went to VCU and then left when Coach came and left, went to Chattanooga, left with him. He's talented. He's blocking a lot of shots. They shoot it at a high level. They mix up their defenses a lot. They pressure a lot like VCU does with Chaka Smart. And it's going to be important for us to take care of the ball. We're going to have to get good shots, and hopefully that blackout will get all kinds of craziness and be loud in the building to help us get over the hump.
And we've talked about after this week, we'll have more of a systematic schedule, 2 on the road, 2 at home. But after we're at home on Thursday night, turn right around, board the bus on Friday to head to Wofford, who was the preseason pick to win the conference.
Yeah, they have majority of their team back. From 2 teams have gone to the NCAA tournament, won the conference tournament championship in the Southern Conference the last 2 seasons. Mike Young is as good a coach as you're going to find in the country. He's been there a long time. They've got a great field. They have a guard that actually is real familiar with Bud Thomas. He's from Denver area, so you know that they're going to bring it, and they understand how hard it is to win on the road, and they've done all the things. They're going to know how it is to win at home, too, because they do that. So both those games are going to be tough for us. We've got a great chance to put ourselves in a tremendous position going into the last 4 weeks. If we could find a way to get 2 this week, ooh, that'd be fun.
Walford, a small gym, Coach. They do have a new one that's on the drawing board, but your guys are going to have to go into arena. It's going to be very loud, maybe somewhat similar to the Utah State experience you talked about a moment ago.
Yeah, it will. It'll be like that from the standpoint, though, it'll be full, I think. I think we have some people, some fans and some students are going to go up for the game, which could make it fun. And I mean, anytime you can have a little bit of voice in a building like that that's small, it helps drown out all their folks that are fired up and excited, and they've won a lot of games in there, just like we've won a lot at our place. So, though I know it's going to be a tough environment, a tough game, but we've played in multiple tough environments and tough games, and I think our guys will be ready for it.
Final question this evening, Coach. Having last Saturday off, how beneficial was that to get your guys some oomph back under their feet?
Well, they look good in practice today. We still have some guys that are banged up. Justin Lewis still doesn't look real good, and his leg and knee, he's just not responding. We're hopeful that the next couple of days will give him some more rest to be ready to go on Thursday night. But I think the mindset of our guys is they understand how big the week is, but every week the rest of the season is going to be like that, because to me, I still believe 3 or 4 losses are probably going to win the league, because as good as everybody is in the league, and that's been historically true whichever league I've been in over the course of the year, in many years. And we've told our guys we want to go 500 on the road if we can and win all our home games. Well, we're right there right now. We got to finish that way, and this week would be a great time to get 2 in a row.
Absolutely, great opportunity. You've got the 2 teams with only 1 loss, an opportunity to help them out in that category.
Yeah, let's help
at
them.
home and on the road.
I like that. Let's do that.
All right, Coach. Always a pleasure to be with you. We're going to be back next week and talk about those 2 big wins, we hope, over the guys we just mentioned when we return next week. Bob Hoffman, any final comments as we get ready for 2 big ones?
No, I'm just excited about the opportunity that our guys have this week and that blackout. If you're seeing this, we'd love to see you in the building.
All right, for head coach Bob Hoffman, Rick Cameron, thanks for being with us. We'll see you again next week with more Inside Mercer Basketball.